Assalamu alaikum everybody. I hope everyone is good and everything is fine on your end. I welcome you all to the virtual lecture series. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic. Every day we come across some books, some newspaper articles or some research papers, and when we read them we come to know like we got something very interesting in them, and sometimes it happens that they aren't good enough and they are just hard on our stomach, and we feel, what has this person written? So this is all about writing process, and one should be very careful about writing. When he starts writing, he should follow a certain procedure, and today we are going to talk. So let us begin with a slight overview of the process, and then we will shift toward the important things. So the first step that we should begin with is pre-writing. Now the question arises, what is pre-writing? Pre-writing is the mean of determine the direction. It tells us in which direction we are going to move. For example, you have planned to write something, but you have to find out for what purpose you are going to write, for what kind of audience you are going to write, and what do you want to address to people. Is that some kind of story, or is it some kind of awareness? So you need to be determined first. When you do not know what harbor you are making for, no wind is the right wind. So first of all, you have to find out your purpose of writing, the main area where you are going to put your focus, the pivot point of your research, your writing. Once you determine what you are going to write, then you have to shift towards drafting. This is the main step where you begin to write. At this step, you are not writing anything. You are just you are just finding out your direction. When you find out your direction once, then you shift toward this step, drafting. It means you practically start writing. You can make one draft, you can make two drafts, you can make multiple drafts, and then you will select the final one that is according to you the perfect one. Once you are done with writing step, then you have to move with revising. Revision is very necessary. It keeps you safe from mistakes. It happens that we do commit mistakes every time, and they are fatal at times. People can forgive you for any sin. People can forget you, your mistakes in real life. But when you commit a mistake in writing and somebody catch that, it is alarming. Now, the next step is editing. Once you revise your work and you feel that there is a need to add something else, or there is need to omit something, you jump toward editing. You can hire an editor for this purpose, or you can do the editing on yourself. And once you are done with all these steps, you can easily jump to the next step, that is publication. So I hope the overview is easy for you. So let's jump toward the next step, that is, now let us study about the same points in little bit more detail. So once we are determined with our topic, in which way we are going to start our journey, then we will begin with the pre-writing. Now, pre-writing means we need to analyze our audience whom we are addressing. Then we need to find out the purpose of our writing, why we are writing. We are we are addressing to some religious group, we are going to address some general public, or we are going to address some, what you can say, the upper class, the lower class, the middle class. We can find out any kind of audience that we want to target. Then the purpose, why we are going to write this. Are we going to put some sort of awareness in the people, or we are going to make them know about certain product, or we are going to promote certain ideology. It all depends upon you. Then this is very important thing, limiting the scope. Limit means to restrict something into a certain circle, into a certain sphere. We need to limit our scope. We cannot cover a vast area. For example, sometimes it comes to our mind that we should start writing, but when we start writing, we start digressing and we start moving in multiple directions. So you should be very careful about that, that in which sphere you want to work on. And the content should be strong enough to influence people. It shouldn't be like that it is not good, it is not interesting for the audience. So you need to be careful about the content. Fine. Now the next step is drafting. Drafting means to write down the things for you. Now this is a practical step where you start writing finally. You need to make a case, the place where you're going to begin. Case means anything you want to talk about. You need to idealize something and then you have to start writing about that. And once you have determined what you are going to do, the next step is structuring your evidence. Evidence normally means some sort of proof, but here it means that in order to support this idea, or in order to inculcate this idea among the audience, you need to collect data. You need to write down the material that is essential to prove it, to convey it. Fine. I hope that would be interesting. Now, let's talk about the next step, that is revising. Revision means, yes, the same thing. Put yourself as a reader and reread the thing that you have read, that you have written, and then think what audience will think about your work, how they will see your work, how they will visualize it, and what they will learn from your work. So this is very essential step. It will make you improve your work, it will help you to relearn, and it will help you to find out your mistakes and work on that, because there is always a room for improvement. If we write one thing, then after some time I feel that you will find out you need more improvement or you need to omit certain things. The next step, editing. If you have committed some sort of errors, typing mistakes, or there is lack of coherence. Coherence means harmony, unity, togetherness, means your text is going in multiple directions. You have to bring it back to unity and harmony. You have to bring back the coherence. So editing is very essential. And once you are done with all that, the next step is publication. Publication means you have to go to some sort of publisher, you have to offer your work that you want to publish, and you have to determine what number of publication you want and to what audience you want to interact with. So this is the most important step over here. So have let's move toward next slide. Here is the flow chart of the process that we have just described, we have just viewed in the previous slide. The first step is pre-writing. Pre-writing moves towards writing. The planning moves toward the practical implication writing. Once we are done with writing, and we can go to revision. But if we feel that our work is not worth it, if we feel that our work is confusing or our work is some sort of lagging in certain way, then we can move back to pre-writing. We can think again We can find out and discover the way again, the direction again, and once we are determined with the direction, then we can go to writing. Now, same is the case when writing is done, we will go towards revision. If we find any mistake, we can go back to writing, we will write again. But if there are no mistake or we are done with mistakes, we can go to editing. So if there are grammatical problems, if there is lack of coherence, if you feel the article or the research that you are going to write is perfect grammatically, it has proper syntax, it has proper semantics, then you can go to the publisher and present your work. Fine. Now let's jump to the next slide. So now is the time to talk about all the steps in detail. So first of all, pre-writing. When you want to buy something from market, you go there, but before going at home, you decide something. For example, if I want to buy a dress, first of all, I will think about that dress by sitting at my home. I won't rush to the market to find stuff and decide. I will first think at home that what kind of dress do I want or what kind of stuff I need. Once I determine the stuff, then I will go to the market to buy it. So same is the case with this writing process. You have to find out the purpose of your writing. It's kind of planning stage. You make plans, what you're going to do, where you're going to sail your ship. So for that purpose, you need to think about your topic. What would be the topic of your research? Once you determine the topic, then you will do brainstorming. Brainstorming means you already have the data in your mind, you only need to recollect it. You only need to find the points and you're thinking of gathering them together. Sometimes there are multiple points that are lying in our brains and scattered. We need to bring some sort of harmony among them. We need to bring coherence among them. So brainstorming will help you to make points clear. Then you have to focus. All those points may still differ. You can pick one point out of them and you will start focusing on that. And after focusing, you will develop a thesis statement or working thesis on which you can start working. Now there is an example that I can give you, and I hope it would be clear from this example what is pre-writing. For example, I give a project to anybody of you. For example, your name is Susie, and I say to you, Susie, you are supposed to write an article, or you are supposed to write a thesis or an assignment. So, what Susie will do? She will not go home and she will copy paste certain thing from the Google or some other app. What she will do? She will begin with pre-writing. Now, she will go home and she will start thinking about topics. She will ask questions like, what do I want to write about? She will find out her inclination, the way she is more inclined to, or the things she is interested in. Then she will think. Once she has decided certain thing, she will think that am I able to achieve what I am thinking? Can I get to that point so easily? Or if I work hard, would my hard work be worth it? And then she will think about her personal views. What are her personal views regarding the thing? So she will think about all these questions in her mind, and then she will start finding out answers to that question. She will also think about the people she are going to address. Is she going to address her classmates, or she's going to address general public? She's going to address university students. So after inquiring herself, she will find out answer to all these questions, and maybe at the end of this she would be able to decide something for herself, some topic for writing, something worth creating. So let's move toward the next slide to find out the further detail. Normally it happens to us that when we start writing or when we start thinking, many things pop up in our mind, and many of us have short time memory loss problem. So we feel refuge in writing the things so that we may not forget them. So Susie and you and I can do the same. Once we find out a lot of stuff by brainstorming, we can write down them on some chart. We don't Writing doesn't mean to be formal. It doesn't mean that you have to write passages of passages and multiple things. No way. You're not supposed to be worried about much stuff. This is the very beginning. This is the pre-writing. You have to think. So you need to just focus on your topic and write about the central idea. You don't need to be worried about the details. You don't need to write passages then and there. Just write down whatever comes to your mind. You don't need to be formal. No need to be formal at all. Just write down your topic and main ideas. That's it. Hope you would be fine at this step. Now, this is a short summary of pre-writing, sorry. This is a short summary, and we will talk about what is the conclusion or what is the gist of the slide that we have studied behind just few minutes ago. Make sure you understand your assignment. If I have given you certain topic to write, if I have given you certain things to work on, you should be very clear about that. I am going to write. Yes, I am going to write. And what I am going to write, you need to decide that. Once you decide that, then consider who will read your assignment. Is that only a teacher? Is that a general public or my class follows, or is it going to be published in some foreign journal? So you need to be very much clear about where is your audience and how educated they are, because you have to match up to their level. You have to have harmony with the audience. If you are not well learned and your audience is learned, they are educated and they are well aware of everything, if you will tell them a petty thing, they will not be interested in your work. So you need to be very careful about your audience. And then, by keeping them in your mind, you have to brainstorm the ideas and you have to find out the subject which you are going to study. Is that fine? I hope things would be clear up to this point. I'm sorry. I hope the things would be clear up to this point. Now let's move toward the next slide. This is a very important topic, that is drafting. Now is the main task, now is the main activity of writing. So once you have decided all the previous things, number one, what you're going to write, whom you're going to address, and what should be your thesis. Once you have decided everything, now is the practical time to write, to draft. So topic is decided and writing is about to begin. So while writing, you should remember one thing: your draft does not need to be perfect. It means you don't need to be worried about, oh my god, I'm writing it perfect. Oh my god, it's not perfect. There are so many mistakes. You don't need to be worried about that. You only need to write. Just believe in yourself and start writing. Whatsoever is coming to your mind, just put that into words. This is just a draft, kind of storage house. This is not the final version. Now the goal of drafting stage is just to outline what you are going to write. Sorry, I'm so sorry about this. Let me erase it first. Where is the eraser? Alright. So sorry about that. I just got excited while writing. So highlighting. So where we were, yeah, we are going to develop some outline for our paper, what we are going to do. You don't need to be worried that the shape of the article or the shape of the passage is no perfect. You don't need to be worried about anything. Now the next step is just make sure that your ideas are clear, what you want to convey to your audience, what you intend to put in the minds of the people. It should be clear. The only step that is needed is clarity. You should be very clear about what you're writing, and then there should be details as well. Earlier in pre-writing you just make small notes, but here you have to put the details that are supporting your idea. I hope it's fine. Now let's move toward the more detail. So here we are. When writing her paper, Susie asked herself some questions. This Susie is the same girl that we have supposed is being given an assignment to write. When she has started writing things, she thinks about certain things. You, and when I will assign you to write something, you must think about these things as well. So, the first question she will ask is, are my ideas organized? Organized means to be in shape, to be in a proper structure, in a proper form. There might be haphazardness, but you need to think about that. You need to organize what your ideas are. And then, when you find out your ideas and they are organized, you need to think about, am I sharing the strong detail? Sometimes people just blabber about things and there is no root to what they are writing or what they are saying. So you should be very careful about what you are sharing. Your details should be strong, it should be supportive, it should be in the favor of your plan. It shouldn't go in arbitrary direction, it shouldn't be bothering audience, like it shouldn't be heavy on their note. Very careful about that. Then when you decide the details, the next question that is, should I include more information or take some away? You have written something and you feel that, oh my god, this thing is extra, it doesn't suit my word, you can omit that. Or sometimes you will feel, something is missing over here, I need to work on it, I need to find out certain more things, so let's work on it, I have to put some more details. So these are certain questions that you need to keep asking yourself while writing every passage, every page, every line. And then you should think about what you can do about that. Are you able to add more or are you able to omit something? Now there is one important thing at the very last. I will read it for you. Remember that you can write more than one draft. So it isn't necessary that you have to write only one draft. You can write multiple drafts and then you can pick the one that suits your purpose, that is perfect for you. Alright? If there is any confusion, you can ask me again. So now here is a short summary for what you have to do while drafting. First of all, you need to write sentences. Everybody begins with a sentence. Don't expect yourself to write like hundreds of pages in the first go, in the first try. Don't worry if nothing is coming to your mind. Just think and start writing. Fine? Begin with sentences, start writing sentences. When you feel that you can write more than a sentence, go for paragraphs, write paragraphs. They cannot be perfect. Don't worry about that if they're not perfect. They will be perfect eventually. They would be fine eventually. Just believe in yourself and start writing. Now, once you have written certain thing, read it. The basic thing is read it. When you will read it, you would be able to judge yourself. Some people are confused that what I'm writing may be wrong. They don't believe themselves. Just believe yourself, start writing. Once you are done with writing, then you can be a good judge. You can read your work and you will find out, oh, it needs some amendment. Oh, it's perfect. You would be judge of your own work. Trust me, it will happen. Then once you are done with these two steps, write some more. You have written one paragraph, you have read it, you have analyzed it. Now is the step to move ahead. Write something more. When you have written more, read it again. And the same process. Judge your work. Is it fine? Yeah, it's fine. It's very good, in fact. So, this step done, write some more. One more page. One more paragraph. Maybe you're able to write multiple paragraphs this time. So write more, read it again, and then again check about how it is. Oh my god, I'm writing so good. Trust me, you will feel that when you start writing gradually. And once you feel that this material is enough for my topic, it's enough to support my cause, then you can stop. Otherwise, keep on writing as much as you can, because there is always an option to omit things. So let the best things come to you. Keep on writing. Interesting? Yeah, that is interesting. Now let's move to the next slide. So this is the next step, that is revising. What is revising? It means to read out your work and start looking at a bigger picture. Now is the time to read the work as you are the audience, as you are the reader, and you are going to begin to judge the writer. Fine? You're done with your work. Now you have to revise. Is your work worth something? Or you need to do some changes. You need to add some more details, or um, you need to omit certain things from your work. Now, this step is very essential and it needs patience. Sometimes we just do things in a hurry and we are like, okay, I'm good, everything is fine, I don't need to bother much. No, you don't need to say these things. Just don't do anything in a hurry. Take some time, take some space, and work on it. Sometime, if you feel that you are overwhelmed by your paper and it is getting onto your nerves, just take a break. Go somewhere, go have a walk, have some space, do some meditation, deep breathing. You need to be very fresh while starting the revision. Don't start revision with a tired mind, with a tired heart. You need to start revision with a fresh mind, okay? Now, it can take some days, it can take some hours. You don't need to work within seconds. You don't need to begin it within seconds after writing. You are done with writing, take a break, man. It can be for days. You don't need to be worried about that. Now, when you feel you are fresh, all perfect, all fine to begin again, then take a print out of your paper, what you have written. Then read it and start writing or attaching sticky notes to it where you feel that it needs some amendment. There is a need to change these lines, or there is a need to add some more details in this. So printing out is fine because you cannot sit in front of screen and see what you have done. If you will take out the print, it will be more comfortable for you and it would be more easier for you to find out the details and add to them. Now you can change the format of your paper. If you have written it in very formal language, in a very strict language, you can lose the plot, you can lose the uh, overall format. So format also means you can change the style of the font. You can make font bold, you can make font larger, because the type of writing, the style of writing is also very influential. Sometimes we are writing very boring details, but if they are presented in an attractive font style, they are cap- they are attracting our attention. They are sort of center of attention. So you can change the font, you can make them large or you can make them small, or you can change their style. You don't need to be distracted at this moment because you are doing the role of a reader right now. So be careful about distraction. Just stay away from them. Only start revising when you have peace of mind, when you are all alone, and when there is silence prevailing around. And the night time or the early morning time is best for it. So just focus on your writing, turn off your phone, turn off the TV, turn off the music, everything off. Now you would be able to focus on revision of your article. So let us come back to our Susie and see what she is doing right now after writing her draft. So she is reading it quite loud. It may look funny. What? Reading out loud something? But to be honest, it is useful. It looks strange. It might be weird at times that you are reading your work loud, but it is something worth doing. So once she's done with reading out loud, what she does, she starts asking her questions. Questions like, do I have a good topic sentences? Topic sentences means the beginning of her passages in the article or in the paper on the thesis are defining the whole passage, or are they just random hits? Now, how are my details? If she find out that the topic sentences of the passages are perfect, are the other lines that are following the topic sentences are the accurate details, or they are something that are useless? Do I have a good order to my paper? Remember the point organization that we talked about earlier? So now she will think that all the passages that I have written so far, are they organized, or they are just haphazard and they have no direction? By asking these questions, Susie is checking that both her content and her structure meet the assignment. Remember, your work, your content should be perfect according to your purpose. If you are awareing the audience, your content should be such that it has the worth to aware the people. If you're writing it to promote something, it should have the content strong enough that will influence the people, that will convince the people to buy your product. If you're promoting certain ideology, then your content should be sufficient and should be potential enough to make people think according to your point of view, to put themselves in your shoes and see the things according to your ideology. So remember, your content should be perfect. Your content should be strong. Once you feel that your paper is organized, what Susie is thinking. She takes time to look at the style. Once she is done with the content, now she will ponder on the style. What is the style of her paper? Is it fine? Is it good? If not, she will change it. She will work on it. And then she will check her tone, her language, and sentence structure. These things look weird. How can somebody check a tone in the writing? Yes, you can check the tone in the writing. Are you aggressive in your writing? Are you influential in your writing? Or are you polite in your writing? Your writing depicts your tone. Some writers are so harsh that nobody loves to read it, and some are so polite that everybody feels that he is perfect. So you need to adjust your tone according to your topic, according to your purpose. You can be polite, you can be aggressive, you can be something in the middle of both of these. Then check your language. Is your language fine? Are you not using slangs? Are you not using something that is harsh? Are you using abusive words? So you need to check your language. How is your language? Is it fine or is it confusing or is it harsh? Then the sentence structure. Sentence structure means are defined syntactically, means grammatically there are no mistakes, and all defined sigmatically, pragmatically. You have to see your sentences in all directions, their semantics, the meaning of your sentences. You have to focus on everything. If there is any confusion, feel free to ask. Now, here is a short summary for all the steps that we have discussed and all the steps that Susie have followed right now. The first step that is very important is read what you have written again. Once you're done with writing, you have to read your work. Read out loud, read out in a normal tone, but read it. Once you start reading, you will find out that there is some need to rearrange some things, some words, sentences, or paragraph. If you feel that there is a need to rearrange the words, sentences, or paragraphs, you can go back, you can rearrange them. Once you're done with this, then find out, is there anything that is extra? Is there extra adornment in your whole writing piece? So if you find that something is extra, take it out. And if you feel that some part is lacking some details, or some part is missing, or some part is not clear yet, as an audience, as a reader, then you have to add certain details to that. Alright? Once you read and you feel that your work is not worth influencing or worth reading, or it has not potential content, then you have to do some more research. You should go to internet sources. There is a lot of data available over there. You can go and you can search material, you can pick material from there, you can use that as a reference point, you can collect idea from that, and then you can put the idea along with your idea in your topic. Now, one thing that is very important is don't repeat same words again and again and again. It is good in the case there is an ideology that you want to inculcate in your readers. You can repeat that after some intervals, but don't use one word again and again and again. Now, once you're done with all these, you should read out it loud. What does it mean by reading out loud? You know, reading out loud is very necessary. It will make you feel the flow of your writing. If it feels like symphony to your ears, it means your writing is very good. But if it feels coarse, if it feels something harsh, you need to work out, you need to think about that, and you need to change it. I hope that would be clear. And now let us move towards the next point, that is editing. Now, what is editing? Editing means you're done with whatsoever you want to write. Now is the time to find out the mistakes. These mistakes are not relevant to content, but they are relevant to this overall format, the style, the grammar, the punctuation, etc. So once you are done with the tone, then check out the, each line again. This time you have to check the spelling. Are the spellings good? If there is any mistake, point out and correct that. Check the grammar. Are the sentences good grammatically or not? If they are good grammatically, good. That's perfect. Then you have to check the punctuation. Punctuation means sometimes you have to put exclamation marks, sometimes you have to put hyphens, commas. Check out all these things are rightly placed. If they aren't placed rightly, then you have to work on that, because punctuation is very necessary to convey your meaning. If the punctuation isn't good, if a comma is placed at the wrong place, what will happen? The meaning of the sentence can change. So make sure everything is placed at the correct position. Check the sentence structure. Is it fine, or does it need some amendment? Does it have some grammatical error or something? Then let's come to document format. The format should be according to your choice, your font style, your font size. You can choose that according to your need, according to your purpose. You have to check the entire assignment, and once you feel that now it is perfect and every line is fine and you are done with editing, you can go ahead. You know, your whole story is adorned, is overhauled, is decorated. Just imagine a marriage where you have decorated the whole home, but there are slight mistakes somewhere. So you don't want to be ridiculed over them. You should go back and you should fix them. Same is the case with it. People can forget everything, everything good that you have written, your purpose, your image, your words, everything. But they will pick out your mistakes and they will ridicule it. So don't give any chance to anybody for mistakes. If you feel that you aren't good at pointing out mistakes, if you're not good at editing, if you're not good at grammar check and all that, you can hire somebody who is perfect in editing, who has experience of it, or you can take his guidance. So it's all up to you. If you need any further elaboration, feel free to ask me. Editing is extremely detailed process. Why it is detailed? Because you have to go back to each and every line. You have to find out, okay, my comma is rightly placed. Oh my god, I put a question mark over here, and this is not a question. This was a question and it required a question mark at the end. So you have to find out all the petty mistakes that you have committed. And it is not possible to write a long thing without committing a mistakes. We all commit mistakes, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally, and sometimes it happens without our knowledge. You need to just focus on what you have written and work on it. So the same thing, you can hire somebody if you feel that you're not good enough to rework on the same thing that you have done or yet you have written. It's okay to commit mistakes, but mistakes can be corrected. This is a short summary for what we have read about editing. So first of all, make sure you see all sentences and they should be complete. Don't leave phrases or don't leave any sentence that has no meaning. Sometimes it happens that we are writing and then we leave the space thinking, I will write about that later on, I will think something and add to it, something like that. So don't worry if you have left that, you can forget about it. So read each and every line and find out that all sentences are complete. They're complete, they should be proofread. There should be no grammar mistakes, no spelling mistakes. The spelling should be correct. There should be capitalization at proper places. Capitalization means the beginning of every sentence should be with a capital letter, and punctuation, comma, apostrophe, stuff like that. Then change the words that are not used correctly. Sometimes we know huge words, complex words, and we want to use that in our work, but somehow we fail to use them accurately. So you don't need to use over embellished word, grandiloquent word. Just leave them aside. Put simple language, use simple language, and write whatever you know correctly and you know is correct. Then make sure you're using appropriate style of formatting. Don't write your work in a weird format, like there is a passage in one font style and the next passage is in another font style, and there are multiple font styles in your work. So you need to be very careful about your format, your style. Just grab one style and follow it throughout. Don't do multiple variations, because sometimes variety looks weird and people get offended. So let us move towards next style, that is the last step of writing, and that is very important to make yourself known. Everybody likes to make himself recognized by a lot of people or some people. So publication is one thing that can connect you to the people, to the audience, to the readers. So it is the last stage of this very process, publication. At this step, you need to go to some sort of publisher who is recognized, because if you will go to some ordinary publisher, it is possible that people won't follow you, or maybe may fail to connect to you or get your book. So make sure that you connect to some recognized publisher. Once you find out the publisher, you have to submit your document, but your document should be complete. It shouldn't be incomplete, because if it is incomplete, the incomplete document would be published and you would be ridiculed for incomplete thing. So make sure whatsoever you want to go to readers should be given to the publisher. Now once you have handed that to the publisher, it is ready to be published. One thing that is important: if your book is published, if your article is published in some journal or some book or some newspaper or some series, feel accomplished, feel that you have achieved a good milestone, feel you have achieved something big. It is a big success that you are finally able to publish your work, because there are so many writers who are not able to publish their work because they are lagging in one way or the other. So make sure, if you get that nail being hit, just celebrate. Now, if you want your work Now, if you want your work to be recognized by public and you want them to read your book, you can consult any advertisement company, any advertisement team. They will help in marketing of your book and they will let it reach to a lot of hands. So make sure, if you want to address a lot of people, you can make use of this opportunity. Now, this is a short summary of the whole process of writing. The first thing is pre-writing. Pre-writing means you have to think what you're going to write. You have to do brainstorming. There are things, ideas inside your mind. You have to dig them out and you have to find out your topic. Once you're done with topic, that is pre-writing. Then the next step is drafting. You are putting your thoughts on the paper. You are just spilling everything that is in your mind on the paper, and it's done. Once you are done with drafting, writing out your thoughts, then you have to jump towards revising. Revising means read out your work loud. Do you need add do you need to add some details, or do you need to omit something? Just read it and feel as a reader, and then judge as a reader. One can be his best judge if he wills. So judge your work and do revision. Then after revision is the step of editing. You can do it on yourself or you can seek someone's help. In editing, you check the spelling, grammar, punctuations, and capitalization. You can also check the format style. So this is very necessary step because without it, your work can give a strange and weird sense if a comma is placed incorrectly or if a question mark is on the wrong place. Make sure your question ends with a question mark and make sure that the commas are rightly placed. Then evaluation, reflect and assess what you have written. It's somehow related to revising, but here you are evaluating it from both perspective, from grammatical perspective, spelling, grammar, capitalization, etc. And you are also revising it with the reference to context, the content, the material that you are using. And when you are done with all this series, it's time to enjoy the publication. It's time to have fun and it's time to boast about what you have written in front of people. I hope that would be helpful. Here are the list of references if you need any guidance, if you have any confusion, or if you have any sort of query in your mind. You can visit these links and find out what are the problems or what are your ambiguities, and you can clear them out. If still you are unable to clear them out, you feel free to hit me, feel free to talk to me and ask me questions. I thank you a lot for giving me your precious time and listening to the words of wisdom that I shared with you. I hope you might have learned from it, and if you haven't learned anything, it's okay. It's completely okay. You have to revisit the slide. Maybe the next time you will learn something. Have fun, have a nice day. May you all stay blessed. Thank you.